I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Oh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more, do more, do more, do more. Oh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a fool fight. You been working all day, load it up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Oh, I tell her, and she gon' work that round. I'ma mess around and drown when she drop that down. No more phone me blowing up, I like not right now. Oh, I swear that she in next the way she work that mouth. Whoa, automatic cause she move, she be cousin static. I be straight up like an addict, might be coming at it. Now I gotta have it, had enough with all the moves, yeah, move here. Ooh, let me grab it now, I'm on 1 year. Now I'm not done yet, told her wait right here. I'll be back one sec, this is just time out, this is not no way. Go and grab that friend, then you know what's next. Stay. You been rockin' with an all-star, baby, and I know you coming early like a false-star, baby. Packing out the seat, this ain't no hostile, baby, and they know me in the city like a mob star. Oh, I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Oh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more, do more, do more, do more. Oh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a fool fight. You been working all day, load it up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Oh, I tell her,
Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace, you gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted, and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience under pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really now I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. Bought my chicken and it's rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the rip and we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing it. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the start, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, what the heck is Bitcoin going to do here? Are we going to get the murder drop to 80K, or are we going to hold support and get that big break into new all-time highs? Now, we are in a bit of a sticky situation here, guys. We're in a bull market, but we also have to anticipate potential pullbacks. We have some bearish signals on Market Cypher B on the higher time frames, which would call for a bigger pullback. However, sometimes hashtag bull market doesn't like those bearish signals to play out. So what the heck are we to expect here next on Bitcoin? I'm going to cover it all in tonight's live stream. I see some people calling for a bounce from where we're at right now. I see some people saying we got to take out that liquidation wick before getting the move up. I'm going to break down all the key levels, guys. I'm going to talk to you guys kind of exactly what I'm looking at here on the charts, how my trading plan and how I'm handling the price action here moving forward. And to be quite honest with you guys, I know we got the little dump. If you saw my market update, we covered that dump. I know we got a little pullback, but I got to say, guys, like for the most part, we are pretty much just ranging sideways up here at higher prices, right? And, you know, it just goes to show like that we're in a bull market, right? Because it's like, you know, people get into crypto, they see all the green candles, they wake up every day, their portfolio is just flipping every single day, and then they see a couple red candles, they get super scared. But, you know, we don't just want to just keep those blind bull glasses on, because if we get those pullbacks, we have to be ready for them, right? You don't want to get panicked out of the market. You don't want to panic sell your bag at the bottom. So we got to be prepared for everything, and we are in a little bit of a sticky situation. So what I'm going to do today is I kind of want to cover the long term, but I want to cover the bullish case and potential possibility of coming up higher if we just see those bearish signals not play out, because we're in a bull market. But I am going to cover those bearish signals, and we'll talk about those lower levels that I'll be looking at if price does get a drop down. There's a lot of stuff to look at right now, guys, and to be honest, the market is kind of choppy, even locally on the lower time frames. The market is super choppy. I haven't even taken a trade today. I'm kind of sitting on my hands waiting for bigger key levels to get hit, but we got the saucy levels for you, and some of those altcoins, guys, did come down to their key levels, and they are getting some bounces here, but we'll talk about if we should anticipate a continuation of the trend to the downside. Some people, I see you guys in the chat, some people think we're going back up. Some people think we're going to zero. I forgot who said it. Someone at the beginning of the chat said $500. Hey, we'll see if we can get it. But shout out to the CandleMafia. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Shout out to Warren G. Said, God, my alts are looking like poop. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Warren. Thank you for being here. We got K Diggity in the chat. K Diggity. Phoebe says hi. She's laying right next to me. She says, what's up? Shout out to K Diggity. If you don't know, Phoebe is my imaginary pet goat, soon to be real. Maybe I'll share a TikTok after the live stream on the fake out of a hilarious tiny little goat, and it explains why I want a pet goat, guys. They're the coolest animals ever. But shout out to everybody in here. We got Mark Dutch in the chat. Shout out to French Toaster. Mike Vito, Mike Paisan said BTC 500. I'm in. XRP. Yeah, we had the RLUSD thing happen today. We'll take a look at XRP. Is that going to send XRP back to the moon? Is it going to be kind of like a sell the news event type thing? We'll cover that as well. We got 9 to 5 and crypto content. Shout out to you, said appreciate and respect your lives, Frankie. LFG, shout out to you, bro. Thank you for being here. Always happy to see you in here. We got Jesse in the chat, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get gives you guys a chance to win some free Solana on Friday night's live stream. We already added $100 of Solana on last night's live because we hit 1,000 likes. If we do it again today, we're gonna drop another $100 in Solana giveaways. Let's see. Yo, tickle that button. Shout out to JD, guys. Smash it up. 1,000 likes, an extra $100 of Solana, and then we'll build it up over the week if we keep hitting those like goals. And we'll drop a big Solana giveaway on Friday. But yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate every single one of you guys. We got Jay Edits in the chat. We got Mads and Lizzie. We got everybody in here. Wayne C. Shout out to you. Erica in the chat said my girlfriend had a goat. And it would eat her hair in her sleep. I don't recommend it. Yes, I've been told by veterinarians that it's not a recommended pet. They said they would destroy my house. So yeah, maybe, I don't know. Well, we're gonna see if we can get it. I'm gonna get a pen pal goat if I have to. I'll FaceTime him on the live, or I'll FaceTime her. I'll FaceTime Phoebe on the live stream. We're getting a goat somehow, guys. I need to, in some form or fashion, own a goat at some point in my life. But with all that being said, guys, this is not a farm animal stream. This is a crypto stream. So let's go ahead and jump on into the charts and break down what we're looking at here on Bitcoin. Let's get into the charts. So here we are, guys. Just make sure OBS is all good. We're good. We got the fan on with the camera. Hey, shout out to Zach Leroy. Thank you so much for gifting those memberships. Hey, we're starting off the stream good tonight, guys. Let's go. Shout out to Zach. Thank you for gifting those memberships, and shout out to everyone who just got them. I don't know. Drop a money emoji in the chat to thank Zach. Thank you for that, bro. And shout out to Jesse. Thank you for the super chat. Said, don't forget to smash that like button. Hit those. Hit it with your nose. That's it, guys. Just touch it with your nose. I don't care what you do. We're not watching. We don't judge. Just make sure you tap that like button. And if you do it more than once, just make sure you do it an odd amount of times. But let's go ahead and jump on in. Peter said, crypto stream. I thought there was going to be goats here. But yeah, guys, what the heck is going on with Bitcoin? So let's go over this right now. As you guys know, on yesterday's live stream, we did talk about, the bigger drop that we got to the downside here on the 5th, right? Talking about how this was, pretty much, it's hard to say that you could guarantee this is what it is, but we at least know, basically what this was a giant liquidation wick, right? This was not, a gigantic drop to the downside based off of like people freaking out and selling their crypto. It wasn't really legitimate sell pressure. What this was all the long liquidations getting absolutely destroyed, right? Now, technically, this would be looked at, in my opinion, as a bullish wick, right? Because when you have those big, long liquidation wicks to the downside, washing out all those longs, typically you do see a rebound back to higher prices, right? Now, this does not mean that we're just guaranteed going to rip up to over 100K, but this is worth understanding that this was a liquidation event in the market, right? We took a look at XO charts. I showed you guys those long positions closing with the open interest coming down, and we also were able to see that liquidity sitting on the charts by looking at the liquidation heat map, right? So by taking all that information, we could kind of look at that and say, hey, that was basically a liquidation event, which I don't want to say it's like I guess you could classify it as healthy, but it's just not bearish, right? It's not like we're just like, oh my God, everyone's selling their crypto, it's going down. And that's why you see these big wicks back to the upside. Everybody FOMO shorts on the way down. They think it's going to zero, the top is in, and then as price pushes back up, all those shorts get liquidated, giving you that big long wick to the upside. So just to kind of classify that, this was basically just a liquidation wick, right? And we are seeing a lot of these liquidation wicks in the market, guys. Everybody's in crypto now. There's a ton more volume here as far as trading goes, and this is what gives us that big volatility, right? And this also comes with these giant liquidation wicks. Now, again, I don't want to act like we're just guaranteed to rip back to the upside. I will cover the bullish case, but I really want to focus on the bearish case, guys. Even if we do continue up, I want you guys to be aware of the levels down below and why there might be a possibility of coming down. We're going to go back in time. I'm going to show you guys the 2021 bull market. We're going to compare things, and hopefully you can walk away with hopefully some peace of mind. Hopefully you don't walk away scared. But yeah, I will just say this. I'm not panic selling my bags just yet. For the most part, guys, like we are still in a massive uptrend. This is still a bull market. The bull market is not guaranteed over. So I just want to kind of preface that. Even if we look at some of these lower prices, it does not mean the bull market is over, right? So I just want to start with that. If you're freaking out right now, just zoom out, right? Zoom out. You're look at all these pullbacks that we've seen. I said this in the market update earlier today. If you've been in crypto for more than a few weeks, you've endured much worse liquidations, much worse pullbacks before. Even back here, when was this? August 5th, right? We had that big liquidation wick to lower prices here, hitting about almost $49,000. And basically that was the same thing, right? We kind of wiggled sideways, big liquidation event, and then you get a next big move to the upside. So again, like this was, a lot of people were like, oh my God, is this the bear market? And we were sitting here like, no, this is not the bear market. Please zoom out. Now, again, that doesn't mean that we can't continue down, right? So I'm going to get into the little bit of a bearish scenario here. But again, I just, I feel a responsibility to like put people's minds at ease. Even though we're going to look at lower levels, guys, I am not calling the top here. I'm not saying everything's over. But we do have to cover both sides of the market here. So with that being said, if you saw the market update earlier, this will be a quick little refresh of what we looked at. And also, if you watched the live streams recently, we've talked about all this stuff almost every day, right? So it all kind of started off with these higher daily time frame red dots, right? We had the 3-day red dot, which is now, pretty confirmed from a while ago. But we got that red dot confirmed. Sure, we came up here and we swept the highs into $104,000. Now, I do want to talk about potentially something that we looked at a long time ago before we even came up into these all-time highs and broke 100K. We talked about a possibility of coming up and getting a swing failure pattern into the liquidity that we had sitting above $100,000. And I will pull up the heat map in just a minute. But we knew we had a lot of liquidation sitting up here above 100K, right? And what we really didn't want to see was a big wick and a sweep of those liquidations, because oftentimes when you see that, it does give you a bigger correction to the downside. So I'm going to cover that as well. But for the most part here, 2-day red dot has been confirmed. That is generally somewhat of a bearish sign, at least, or 3-day and 2-day red dots have been confirmed for quite some time. This is generally a sign of some kind of a pullback to come in. Obviously, we already got that liquidation wick. And in a bull market, guys, sometimes those pullbacks are not long-lived, right? Typically, they are just like a big liquidation wick, and then you come back up and you just continue your move to the upside. Even over here, like, obviously, pullbacks are not impossible in a bull market, right? This is 31% drop to the downside, but only to continue putting in higher lows and continuing to the upside, right? So, I am still looking at this through the lens of a bull market. So still, being somewhat conservative with these bearish signals, right? We also had the 4-day red dot print, the 5-day red dot print. Come on, there we go. 6-day red dot was printing, and now we have that weekly red dot printing in all of its glory. Now again, these bearish signs on Market Cypher, the red dots, even if you have a bearish divergence, typically, right, we come back to over to 2021, I will just say, right, typically, let's mark out these red dots in a bull market, right? Now, this is different in a different context, but based off this current context of the market, being in a bull market, this is kind of what we're going to be looking at, right? So let me just pull this up here. We have a weekly red dot there. We have a weekly red dot here. We have a weekly red dot here, right? So just on the way up here, right, all of our weekly red dots, sure, this one gave you a little bit of a pullback, but really what was it to do? Just put in a higher low and continue to the upside. This one, right, only gave you a little bit of a washout before continuing up. This one gave you again, almost like a 30% pullback before putting in a higher low and continuing to the upside. So, again, could this, weekly red dot slash, right? It's not just a weekly red dot. It is technically, if we're being technical here, it is a bearish divergence, right? You have higher highs on your price action, technical lower highs on your momentum waves here. So it is a bear div. However, again, I'm taking that with a little bit of a grain of salt, being that we are, based off the 4-year cycle, very likely to see a bullish 2025. If we're going to see this bull run, at least even rhyme with the previous cycles, very likely 2025. We still have a lot of room to run, in my opinion, right? And again, just based off the previous cycles. Could this time be completely different and we just rip down into a bear market? Maybe, right? There's always an argument for something to happen. And I could talk to you guys about like technical reasons why that may be possible, but I do think it's the less likely situation. So I'm not really going to go over that today, but we will go over a little bit of a harsher correction, right? Not total bear market, but a little bit of a harsher correction. Now, weekly bearish divergence, that's puzzle piece number 1, or bearish puzzle piece number 1. Number 2, we have the daily bearish divergence, which we were taking a look at yesterday, which gave us higher highs on our price action, lower highs on our momentum waves, giving us that daily bear div, right? Bearish puzzle piece number 2. Bearish puzzle piece number 3. Was the fact that we had this 4-hour money flow starting to cross over into the red, or it was going to start crossing over into the red, right? We just generally trending down here very clearly on money flow. Like, even though we're coming back into the green here slightly, technically, it is still trending to the downside, right? So this is not necessarily a bullish sign. Now, again, understanding the context of the market that we're in, what do we always talk about with this money flow in a bull market, guys? The money flow on the 4-hour, right? Money flow on any time frame, right? Like even the 8-hour. Shout out, I forgot who asked the question in the premium Discord. Somebody said, Frankie, we've never had a money flow crossover on the 8-hour into the red. Does this worry you, right? Because you guys can see 8-hour money flow is starting to cross over into the red, which I guess you could add as a fourth bearish puzzle piece. Now, again, this sounds like I'm building up some diabolical plan to see Bitcoin go down to 50K. It's not really the case here, but we'll get more into that in just a second. But I do just want to point out, right, the thing here is, I kind of hate this, right? Because when we're in a bull market, we're not expecting these money flow crossovers to give us, what we typically expect them to in a sideways market or, even in a bear market, right? If we come on over here to 2021 once again, you can see, right, we did actually have some 8-hour money flow crossovers. But what happened here, right? Here's your 8-hour money flow crossover. Let me go ahead and unhide the TA here, right? 8-hour money flow crossover occurred right here. We got one little last push to the downside before coming up for massive all-time highs, right? And then you can see, I believe we did get another fake out. Yeah, right here we had another fake out into the red here on our 8-hour money flow. What happened? We got a little sneeze to the downside before massive new highs, right? So I'm not saying that this all has to play out exactly how it's played out in the past, but if you guys remember to the recent live streams, right? Let me go ahead and hide the TA. On the 4-hour, right, we looked at this money flow coming over, crossing over into the red on the 4-hour, and what did we say? We said the same thing I just said, right, which is basically like, hey, from a binary perspective, this is a bearish sign on the chart, right? Like, technically, money flow is coming out. This typically indicates that the trend is going to continue down. However, understanding, right, TA is not just as easy as waiting for a money flow crossover into the red and then shorting and making $1 million. Now, is the money flow sometimes that reliable? Absolutely. But you have to, there's more to it, right? You have to understand the context of the market that you're trading. And that's what made us say, hey, we have this money flow crossing over into the red right here. This is technically a bearish sign. However, again, if we just go back to 2021 real quick, you guys can see I even compared it to this exact place in the market right here. And what did we say? We said, hey, what happened the last time we got a money flow crossover into the red? Just in general, in the bull market, guys, money flow comes down, it comes back up. It comes down, barely crosses into the red, comes back up. Fake out into the red, comes back into the green. Fake out into the red, back into the green. But this was the only real time where we had money flow come really visibly into the red. And we talked about, what happened here, right? We essentially had the money flow crossover into the red, and we got another little sneeze to the downside to put in a higher low, and then we broke structure to the upside. We talked about this in the market update, right? And then what happened when we actually wound up coming to the current price action, right? What wound up happening? Exactly what we kind of expected, right? We expect, hey, we're in a bull market, could get the fake out, money flow comes into the red, we put the higher low in, and then we break that structure to the upside. So you have to keep that in mind when you're looking at these bearish signals. However, the money flow is crossing over into the red on the 4-hour. The money flow is crossing over into the red on the 8-hour. So although these could be fake outs and may even be likely fake outs, I do think these may hold a little bit more weight for the specific reason of having the weekly red dot on top of the weekly bearish divergence, on top of the daily bearish divergence, and we have money flow coming to the downside. And one more thing I want to point out is if we come on over here to the monthly, guys, I will say, right, if we go ahead and mark out, I want to go over here and mark out this previous high, right? And actually, let me hide some of this TA really quickly. Bada boom, hide the naked points of controls. And I will just draw a horizontal line here, right? So 99,776, right? This was that first high that we were looking with all that liquidity that was sitting above. I'm not going to pull up the heat map just because we show it all the time. Maybe I will pull it up. Let me see here. Let me just let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. Come on, high block. There we go. Let me make it full screen. Okay, so, oh God, we're frozen here. We're frozen. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Okay, so if we look at this heat map, right, we had all this liquidity, again, sitting above about 100K, right? And then what we really didn't want to see was a big, a quick sweep of that liquidity. And you can see if I zoom in here, right, there's your hot spots of liquidity, letting you know you have a lot of liquidations and likely stop losses sitting above this current high. And what happens? We know that liquidity acts as a magnet for price. And what happens? Price gets sucked up, and then sweep, we go ahead and grab that liquidity. We tried to trade up here for a little bit longer, and then eventually we wound up coming down. Everybody who was FOMO longing this pump wound up getting liquidated, and that is essentially what we saw happen. And I know it gets really scary because it's like, oh my God, we broke above 100K, we got a harsh rejection. But really, in my opinion, what happened here, and this is not just looking at the heat maps, right? This is looking at the actual order flow, looking at the actual liquidations, looking at the longs actually coming into the market, right? As we got that sweep of the liquidity up here, everybody sees this as a breakout, and they start FOMO longing. Right? What does that mean? That means new people are entering leveraged positions, expecting price to just rip up to $1 bazillion. They're going to get rich overnight, right? But the market makers are like, no. You can't just come in here and think you're going to get rich overnight. If you're going to do that, do it with the meme coin. You got a better chance. But, you come up, all these longs come in and enter into their trades, putting all that liquidity now below the pump. So when price winds up getting a pullback and we start liquidating all the new longs up here, all those longs are now underwater. And when they get stopped out and liquidated, that's what causes the massive liquidation event to the downside. This is actually what happened in the market, right? This isn't just there was a pattern up here and we dumped. This is why price moved down. And this is verifiable by actually looking at the liquidations, by looking at the open interest, by looking at the net longs and the net shorts, right? So that's basically what happened here. So the reason this is could be bad is because although we knew we had the liquidation sitting up here and we were looking for a potential swing failure of those highs, come sweep that liquidity for a bigger correction to the downside, I will say, right, if we look here on, it's very hard, right, because we didn't really get the SFP. Like, we got a little SFP on this daily candle, which I don't trade these, but it is worth looking at, trying to figure out where price is going to go next. You get a little SFP here on that daily candle, but then you came back up, you held above it again. Now we're back down below. But really, this is really hard to call, right? Because we don't know what this monthly candle is going to close like. But I will say, we could have, if we wind up closing this monthly candle below this wick, that could potentially indicate that we're going to get a little bit more of a pullback, right? Not bull market over necessarily, but could indicate more of a pullback, right? So you could see all of these things coming together are going to at least give me the idea that we could potentially see a continuation to the downside. Again, I hate to be the flip-flop guy, right? Like, this is just how you are as a trader, right? This is how you have to be because there's opportunity for a dump. There's also opportunity to get into a long for a pump, right? But, if we close this monthly candle below this wick, this would be pretty bearish in my opinion, right? And could call for that bigger pullback, right? So if we zoom in here, I want to go on the lower time frames just a little bit, but those are kind of the puzzle pieces. Weekly bear div, daily bear div, even just the weekly red dot in general, 8-hour money flow coming into the red, 4-hour money flow coming into the red. But again, remembering that we are in a bull market and it only takes going back as far as 2021 to see kind of, what happens with those money flow crossovers. They mostly get stepped on, right? So you have to keep that in mind. But from a binary perspective, just bring in the technicals here. That money flow is coming out on a lot of time frames. Even the 10-hour coming into the red. What do we always talk about with the Market Cipher B 1/16 strategy? We look for the weekly red dot, right, with a 10-hour money flow crossover into the red. When you have that weekly red dot and you see that 10-hour money flow about to cross over into the red, if you're going to get a bigger dump, typically that dump is started by that 10-hour money flow crossover into the red. So these are things I'm watching very closely because if we're not going to get the fake outs into the red to come back into the green like we typically see in bull markets and we are going to get a bigger correction, the 10-hour money flow might be the thing to watch, right? We talk about this many times, right? You get a money flow crossover. I believe this was the last kind of situation that we had, which, funny enough, was on that August 5th liquidation event, which wound up giving us a massive drop to the downside. But I believe this was the last time that we wound up seeing that money flow crossover into the red, at least, with a weekly red dot printing at the same time. And we wound up getting that bigger drop. So this is definitely something I'm going to be watching. And I know the question is, Frankie, if we get the bigger drop, what do we do? Where are we going? Where can we bounce? How low can we go? Should I be scared? Should I panic sell my bags? And I can't tell you what to do with your money. I'm not a financial advisor, guys. I can't tell you, what to buy, when to sell it, when to buy it. We can show you the key levels where I might be buying it, and I think that might be a good time for me to buy, right? And maybe you could use that information. Bull runs over. All hope is lost. Shout out to Bitfrog. Don't worry, guys. I know this sounds bearish, but again, I don't think it's bull market over, right? We just might be. Again, back to the market update, 15, 20, 30% pullbacks are not uncalled for in a bull market. Just remember that, right? And again, the fact that this last dump that we saw was basically fueled from liquidations isn't a bad look, right? To be quite honest. Like it even here, right? Like this was likely a big liquidation wick before coming up and breaking the high once again, right? And then even then we got a big trend to the downside. And then what happened? We eventually came back up and broke the high. You have to have a little bit of a long-term perspective on your spot bags, in my opinion, right? my spot bags, I'm not selling my spot bags, right? And will I regret that when Bitcoin goes to zero potentially? Maybe, right? But, you have to make a decision and stick with it, right? You have to have a plan. So, but with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and dig into this, right? So let's just assume, I'm going to go over the bearish case, and then I'll give you some bullish hopium. Stick around, guys. We're going to get to bullish hopium. Don't worry, because there is a possibility, guys. Nobody knows what Bitcoin's going to do next. We might be able to call this very accurately most of the time. We're not right 100% of the time, obviously, but we're right way more than we're wrong. But please understand, nobody knows where this thing is going. Take it from me. No one knows 100% where this thing's going, right? And I do see a lot of people being extremely confident in what they say. And the funny part about that is it's almost like, that's how you know you're in a bull market, right? Because everyone's just so confident, right? A lot of people are just saying, like, there's no way we could break down more. We're definitely going up. You're an idiot, right? They don't really say it to me, but, people just hate on each other, right? Like, if you think it's going lower, you're a moron. If you think it's going up, you're a moron, right? This is typically what we see in a bull market, right? Like, all the attention comes back. Everybody gets, head to head, right? But if we look here, right? I'll go over the bearish case. We'll go over the bullish case. If we get the bigger drop down, where are we looking, right? Obviously, we covered this in the market update earlier, so I won't cover it too much. But I will just say, let's go higher time frame first, and then I'll cover this local range. Obviously, when I say we're ranging around, guys, I mean it, right? Like, we're basically just finding value up here. Sure, we deviated above the high, but at the end of the day, we just came back down. Sure, we got the big liquidation wick, but what happened? We essentially came right back up into the range. Came back up, deviated above the high, couldn't hold the high, back into the range, rejected the high, came back to the POC, lost the POC, went back down to low, back to the POC, back to the low, right? So we are essentially just building value up here. So this is kind of why, I don't really freak out on this stuff, right? You just get a little push down, big deal, right? But again, there is a possibility of filling this wick. So let's talk about it. I'll come back to these levels in a minute. But if we get the bigger drop down, what's that next level of support that I'm going to be looking at? Very simply put, go ahead and pull it up right here, right? It's going to be pulled from this previous area of value back in November, right? And I will just pull up the actual levels. Where is my white box? Boom, right? So we have this previous value area. Very simple, guys, right? Auction market theory. Price is always seeking fair value. We now have some kind of fair value up here, right? And where's our next when price imbalances, right? This is where price found balance. When it goes over the high, they sell it back into the range. When it goes below the low, it gets bought back up into the range. Above the high, sold back into the range. Below, bought back into the range, right? So this is an area of balance. Very simply put, this is how I look at the market. When we get imbalance, meaning the buyers outweigh the sellers or the sellers outweigh the buyers, in this case, we're looking for sellers to outweigh the buyers, right? And they impulse or imbalance to the downside, where's price likely to get attracted to? It's going to get attracted to, very likely, the previous area of balance, which is sitting down here between 88.2 and 92.173, with the POC sitting close to the value area high at 91.293. These are the levels that we looked at in the market update, right? So this is the range that we're in right now. If we lose it, I'm simply going to be looking down towards the volume profiles. And the peace that this gives me by looking at the markets in this way, guys, is unreal, right? Like, it's just so comfortable that I know, like, okay, hey, if we break down here, we could just look to get stuck under the value area high. Now, obviously, I will be looking at this as somewhat of a zone, right? Because you have your value area high. You also have your POC of the range, right? And when you have your POC so close to your value area high, oftentimes I will just look at that as a zone, right? Because, generally, your POC is somewhere in the middle of the range, right? So, more often than not, once you start losing that value area high, that makes me look for a move to the middle of the range and then eventually down to the bottom of the range. But when you have these so close, really your doorway to lower prices is going to be this POC. And there's a lot of confluence in these levels as well, right? So if we do drop down, again, we'll talk about some lower levels, but just understand we do have support down below, right? Even if we get a bigger drop, doesn't mean we're going to 77K to fill the CME gap. Although we could do that. I really don't want to fill that CME gap. I'm just going to say that right now, guys. If we come down there, we could potentially see it act as support, but if we fill that CME gap, that's where I don't want to say I would call for a certain bear market, but that is where things really start to get hairy, right? Because, and I'll explain that in a second, because we have a lot to look at today, guys, because we're in a dicey situation here. I know it's fun to be in a bull market, but when you're trying to catch the change of trend, it can get very stressful, right? Because right now, market Cypher B is low-key screaming down, right? It's screaming like it wants to go to the downside. But that's a hard bet to take very confidently in a bull market, right? So it kind of gives you this uncertainty, and this is just the reality of the situation that we're in. I wish it wasn't, right? But this is why we look at the bullish case and the bearish case, and we could take advantage of shorts or longs, so it doesn't really matter. We just need price to move. So this is the key levels down below. I'll keep it nice and simple. There's there's a lot of confluence in this zone, and I will go over it briefly, but just if you're looking for simple levels, guys, this is the value area down below. You can screenshot these levels, get them on your chart, pull the same range, right? I'll even highlight the dates of the range here on the 10-hour. You can pull that same exact range, right? But that's the volume profile down below. Shout out to the premium Discord. They get all my charts shared with them. But if we come down here, right, I'd be looking at, again, if we start breaking out of the range that we're in right now, which, again, is obviously sitting up here, we start losing this range decisively. That money flow does wind up playing out. Once we get rejected out of this range and we get imbalanced to the downside, very likely we come to fill this wick, right, which, again, is why this POC is going to be a very key level, because if we come down and we fill this wick and start getting stuck under this POC, please understand that we may be able to get that quick drop down to the value area low. Why is that? Well, just based off the laws of the volume profile, you come down to the value area high, you get stuck under the value area high, and in this specific case, below the POC, that's where the next likely place for price to go is going to be that value area low. That is sitting at about $88,210. That's key level. Big key level number one, 88.2 at that value area low, right? Now, if we get stuck under there, lose the POC, looking to come down to the value area low, maybe we bing bong around in here a little bit, maybe we don't. But if we do wind up losing this $88,000 level, guys, the next big level I'll be looking at is this wick down here at 85K, right? Because technically, if you think about this, right, I talk about this in the market update as well. All these people, right, this wick came down and washed out all the liquidity, right? And let me see if I can actually pull that up on a different heat map just to kind of show you guys exactly what I look at. Let me see. I don't want to spend too much time looking for this. I believe it was the 1 month chart where we saw it. Bear with me. I'll spend like 2 seconds trying to find this. If I can't try it, we'll just move on. If I can't find it, we'll just move on. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this quick enough. But either way, right, we came down, we took out some liquidity, but we still do, very likely, have some liquidity sitting down below these higher lows, right? A lot of people longing on the way up, expecting for $1 bazillion to come in, right? They're holding their trades, but their stop losses and liquidation levels are going to be sitting underneath all these higher lows, right? So there could be a lot of liquidity, even below 85K, there still could be a lot of liquidity sitting, right? So if we do wind up coming down, we lose the POC, this wick only stopped out the liquidity below these lows. We still probably have all this liquidity below, essentially below this trend line, right? If I just rough out that trend line, right? We probably still have a lot of liquidity that this wick did not take out yet, which is why not only would you expect to lose this POC and come to the value area low next, if you start losing that POC, you're also going to start tapping into those liquidations, which could make that move very quick, right? Now, if things get crazy and we get a crazy liquidation wick and there is a lot of liquidity sitting down here, which we do think there may be, right? Things could get moving very quickly, right? And if things get very violent, we could lose the bottom of this range at 88.2, again, that first big level, in which case I would be anticipating the $85,000 zone. And let me actually just go ahead and pull that up real quick. $85,000 or 85,212 is the technical level, right? So this will be another very, very big level of support that I will be looking at. Now, I'm not just looking at it as a level of support to come down, tap, and then move up, right? I will be looking at this because if we start breaking below this and we start taking out liquidity, woo, baby, that could start falling pretty quickly, right? Because once those longs start getting liquidated, if we do get that liquidation wick, we're going to see something very similar to this, right? Which could cause a big panic wick to the downside. And again, just looking at our price action here, guys, the consolidation's up here. Once you lose this, there's not a lot of support build up here, right? Typically, fast moves up equal quick moves down, right? Right, so if we come back down here, we lose this level, could see a quick move down. But that doesn't mean that we're going to go to zero, right? Could just be a little liquidity grab before a much bigger move to the upside. And that's something I will be looking out for. However, you do have some confluence here as well. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. And then we do have a golden pocket in here as well, right? So we have the golden pocket pulled from this impulsive low at about 75,457 to the high. That golden pocket does come in confluence with that SFP wick that we have sitting down here at $85,000. And then on top of that, I do believe we have a daily level just at the top of this zone as well. So this whole zone, really between 88 and 85K. I know it's a big zone of support, but just generally, there is confluence here. Golden pocket, daily, I would maybe even, maybe even extend that level up, right? I know it's a big zone, right? But we don't know what we're going to bounce off of, right? Maybe we come, we hold the daily, right? Maybe we wick into the golden pocket, right? Maybe we SFP that low, right? Who knows what's going to happen? But these are the levels that I'm looking at. Daily, golden pocket, that is somewhat confluent, and we have an SFP, and I believe we have an anchored VWAP up in here as well. I covered these levels on the market update. Now, if we lose the $85,000 level, and again, I don't mean a liquidation below that low, right? In that case, this would potentially, I would be looking for like big boy longs if we wind up getting a liquidity sweep down here. However, if we lose that $85,000 low, 80K is probably going to be in the cards, in my own personal opinion, right? And the reason for that is if we're just looking at get rid of this, pull off the dailies. If we're just looking at this overall, right? If we come on over to the daily, when we pull our Fibonacci retracement, right? I'm going to pull it from right here where we got impulsive to the high. Our golden pocket comes in at about $81,000 and $80,000 even, right? This would be a huge level because if we come down there, right? Say we get, again, this is in the worst case scenario, we get a super scary drop to the downside, which again, technically market cipher B could point towards. Hopefully, hashtag bull market, we fake that out as you would potentially expect in a bull market, and we just go up, right? But again, I have to cover both sides, right? If we come down to this golden pocket, right, where would we anticipate a macro high or low to come in at? We would be looking for the golden pocket, 786, at least this one for now, right? And then where does that 786 lead you? Well, I will say, I believe the top, let me see, where's the top of that? I believe the top of the CME gap is at like 80,000. Let me see. BTC, CME. Yeah, 80,670, right? So let's come back. Yeah, so your top of the CME gap's right in there as well. We want to, I said this in the market update, we want to hold this golden pocket. If we don't hold this golden pocket, guys, that's going to be kind of that first warning sign, in my opinion, that like, hey, this is getting sketchy. Because if you lose this golden pocket, the only thing that you can really lean on as far as key support to the downside is to come down and test this 786, which, funny enough, is coming in right at your previous range highs. And I always say this, sometimes, and again, this would be one heck of a retracement for a retest of the scene of the crime, right? The area of the actual breakout. This would be a crazy drop to go test that. I am not calling for this. I'm not even really calling for 80K, right? Like, we don't really know, to be quite honest with you. Market cipher B could be pointing in that direction, but I just want you guys to have these levels on your chart, right? Maybe we never see 80K again. Maybe we never see 74K again. Hopefully we don't. But these are the levels on the chart, and we could very possibly see this stuff come in if those market cipher B bearish signals wind up playing out like you would expect them to, assuming you're not in a bull market, right? Again, very, very kind of difficult situation to these are all really hard. These are going to be really hard decisions to make when we come down to these key levels, right? Because like even when we come down here, right? Let me just clean up this fib. If we come down here where you have the golden pocket, this is kind of nice confluence, to be honest. 786 range highs, right? Now again, is this going to be a bigger zone? Probably, right? It's probably going to be a bigger zone. You also have your value area down here as well. Well, I did not mean to draw that perfectly to the value area high, but like this whole zone really down to the value area high at the top of the range here as well. Very key level, and you have your 786 confluence. However, you know, if you come down here, you are either looking for the biggest long of your life in anticipation of coming up and breaking the highs, or you're going to get wrecked on that trade or hopefully stopped out for a small loss to get accepted back into this range. And in my opinion, you start losing this 786, guys, that is very bearish for Bitcoin, in my opinion, right? Because you've already broken through the CME gap. You're starting to test your last level of defense, but at this point, you're definitely at risk of getting stuck and accepted back into that range. And that would be extremely bearish for Bitcoin. Like, this is where I'd be saying, like, we lose this. It's like, you know, are we going to go back down to 10K? I don't know. Probably not. In my opinion, this would be the least likely scenario, right? I don't think this is very likely at this point. But just to keep you guys aware, I want to do something different today and kind of give you guys prepared in case something crazy happens, right? So again, I do think it's a little less likely, but if we do see that, like, this is going to be the big level. You don't want to lose the CME gap, again, starting at 80,678. Actually, coincidentally, I think is the actual number. Lose the top of that, pretty bearish. That's kind of first breaking point for me. I'm like, that's not good, right? Come down to the 786. Like, you really want to snap out of here. You don't? Not looking good. Not looking good in my opinion, right? But, you know, at the end of the day, guys, you know, it sounds like the end of the world, but to be quite honest with you, it doesn't really change for me, right? It's like, I'm just going to trade the chart, right? So it's not really a big deal, but that's kind of the worst case scenario. I went over this in the market update earlier today, but I wanted to cover it with you guys live because this is what we're looking at, right? Now, again, am I calling for that to come in? Not necessarily right now, right? Like I said, like bull markets, these weekly bear divs typically don't play out as you would expect them to, meaning super bearish. They usually just give you little pullbacks. We just went back to 2021 to back test that. If you missed it, scrub back to the beginning of the stream. I break it all down for you. But that's what I'm looking at, right? Like, that's kind of the worst case scenario. Now, hopefully, we just get those bull horns on and not visit any of those levels. But I want you guys to be aware of those levels down below. Because a lot of people, right, like, and I talk about this in the market update as well, right? Like, if anything taught you that this market can move very quickly, guys, this little liquidation wick of about, I think it was like a $10,000 drop to the downside, back down, about a $10,000 drop to the downside here within, I mean, a few hours. Gigantic drop to the downside. Like, this is your like, this should let you know, like, hey, we can really, really start to move very quickly on Bitcoin. And if you're new here, get used to this, right? This is crypto. This is not unlikely, or I shouldn't say not uncommon. So that's kind of the bearish case, guys. All those bearish signals on Market Cypher B, they're there. Hopefully, we just bull market out of here and they get stepped on like we typically see in bull markets. If that doesn't happen and we see them play out very bearishly, those are the lower levels that I'm looking at. Not only the lower levels that I'm looking at locally, again, lower consult between 92, right? Let me pull it up here. Between about, like 92, 250, all the way down to 85K. Like, we have all these levels down here. But we start going down to, 80,000 and we start losing 80K. That's where I start to get a little concerned. In which case, you have that last ditch effort to hold the high of our previous 7-month range. Down here. Nobody wants to come down here. We spent almost more than a half year down here. We do not want to come back down here. But locally, we still have all that support sitting down here, right? So I'm not calling for that to happen just yet. We still have to lose all this stuff, right? So plenty of opportunity to bounce here. And again, in my opinion, in a bull market, probably going to be a little bit more likely to see the bullish case play out, right? The macro trend is going to be your friend until the end, right? So with that being said, guys, the local levels that I'm looking at, very simply put, nothing really too crazy happening here. I know the drops down get scary, but we just went above the high, back to the POC, lost the POC, back to the low. So this is our local volume profile. Value area low sitting at 94,890. Value area high sitting at 99,751. Now, if we're going to continue the downtrend, right? Pull up the 4-hour here. Let's assume that this money flow is going to cross over into the red. Where could we potentially anticipate rejections? I would say, I would like to just trade this as a range. As long as we remain in this value area, it's longs at the lows, shorts at the highs. Right now, at this high, we have a golden pocket value area high as well. And I will get to chat in just a second. Daily naked point of control, also confluent with this golden pocket. So in a perfect world, right, I would love to go from the low, right? We don't FOMO short at the lows here, right? We got a bounce here. Value area low, golden pocket confluence held up again, giving us another bounce here. So, for me, I like longs at the lows, shorts at the highs. So ideally, in a perfect world, I'd like to come up here. But if the downtrend is just going to start playing out and we're going to get a stronger move down, I will say, locally, we are hitting a golden pocket 786 retracement here. Now, again, I don't really like to take shorts in like the middle of a range here. Like I said, with the volume profiles, it's longs at the lows, shorts at the highs are the high probability trades, right? But there's no guarantee we come all the way up to this full golden pocket. This full golden pocket that's confluent with the daily naked point of control is pulled from the all high, right? The all-time high here at 104,683 all the way down to this panic wick low at 90,323. That gives us the golden pocket confluence on that value area high. This is nice confluence, right? Daily naked point of control, golden pocket, value area high. And if we came up there and we started seeing bearish signals, like this is really where I would like to see those shorts, right? But there's no guarantee we get up there. But again, for me, I only like to take the highest probability trades. So if it comes down from here, if I'm not in a short position, I'm happy to let it go, right? I don't care. I'll just catch the next move, right? I'm a trader, right? For my short-term trades, I don't care about catching every single move, right? If I'm not short from up here, I don't care, right? Because you could always catch the long from down here, which we actually did on the live stream. We caught a little long here off the SFP of this low, made a quick $1,000 at the beginning of the live stream, closed it, and then walked away with money, right? So just play in this range. So there you go. Again, value area high sitting at 99.6 or 99.7, I should say. Value area low sitting at 94, 95K, right? Golden pocket confluence here, but, that's really the range, right? You could always pull your other confluences, but for the most part, that's the value area I'm looking at. Looking at longs, at the lows, shorts, at the highs. Very simply put. I'm just trading the charts, baby. Trading the charts. But that's what we're looking at, guys. I will say this. If you were looking for the bullish hopium, here's the thing, right? Technically, I know it sounds crazy. But it is true. Technically, we still have higher lows here, right? You might say, Frankie, what about this wick? What the heck? That's a lower low, right? No, not really, right? Because it's just a wick. And especially understanding that inside what made this wick move like this was liquidations, right? And the fact that we, closed our bodies up here, this does not count, in my opinion, right? This does not count as a lower low. This is just a wick, right? So technically, we are still holding higher lows. And, who knows, right? Like maybe we just hold this value area low and come up. But just understand, if you're expecting that, you are betting against multiple bearish signals popping up on the chart. Is it likely in a bull market? Maybe. But just understand, you are betting against the TA. But the TA is not going to be right 100% of the time. So again, I do think, maybe we have a little bit more down to go, right? I would love to come up here, find a new short setup. Again, I don't know if we're going to come up here 100%, but I would love to come up here. If we do, I will look for short confirmations to take it back down, potentially to some of these lower levels that we just went over, and then I'll just play it level to level. But that's what I'm looking at, guys. I know it's a lot to palette here, but just to break it down in general, weekly bear div, daily bear div, 8-hour money flow crossover into the red, 10-hour money flow crossover into the red, 4-hour money flow crossover into the red are all bearish signals. If we get the bigger drop down, first we look to come down to 91, 92K. We lose that, we're looking at 88. We lose that, we're looking at 95 with a potential panic wick below. We lose that, we're looking at 80K and crossing our fingers and clenching our butt cheeks, hoping that that level holds. Please, for the love of God, I do not want to lose that level, guys. So we'll see. Until then, I'm just going to be trading this range until it rips up or rips down, baby. That's what we're going to be doing. So that's what we're looking at on Bitcoin, guys. Again, I don't want to cause panic here. Again, we have a lot of support down below. So, I'm not saying we're going to 80K. You also have daily naked points of controls down between 81 and 80K, 81.8 and 80K, basically, 79.997. So you do have support here, right? Like, it doesn't mean the bull market's over. We have a lot to break through here to see that bull market pop up, call it quits, right? So just understand that, right? Like, when you have all those green candles, typically, when you have all these green candles, typically you see some red candles, people get scared. But I also don't want to sit here and act like in bull markets, like you can't get vicious rejections, because you can, right? And you can get vicious retracements. But historically, anything short of a bear market, historically, if you're going by the 4-year cycle, even if you're just like looser monetary policy, if you don't believe in the 4-year halving cycle, you're just looking at the looser monetary policy, the rate cuts that are very likely coming, right? Almost guaranteed coming. I hate saying guaranteed, right? Like nothing is really guaranteed, especially when it comes to trading. But very likely rate cuts are coming. And that's just an environment where we see Bitcoin rally into massive bull markets. So just keep that in mind, right? But, it's not impossible. Is this time different? I don't know. Everyone who screamed this time is different every single cycle, not just 2021, 2017, etc. This time is different. This time is different. They all get wrecked. The bulls and the bears. The bulls that wanted 100K here got wrecked, right? The bears here that wanted 10 to 8K, I think there's still people calling for 8 to 10K, which is funny because, like, I guess, like, eventually, maybe you get down there. I don't know. Like one day when Bitcoin just goes to zero, I don't know. But just understand, like everyone who's always said this time is different, they always wind up getting wrecked, right? However, as time goes on, every cycle does get more and more different, right? So like every time those people are going to be closer and closer to eventually just being completely right. But that's what I'm looking at, guys. That's a full market update. I know that was long. I know we, kind of looked at a ton of different levels, but I just want you guys to have an idea if we wind up getting those big rejections. That's kind of where I would be looking to go before really reassessing the situation. And, we get down to these range highs. Again, this will be a super difficult long to take, right? They come back down, retest these highs. I'd probably be looking for longs in some kind of context. But, you're either – if we come down here, like imagine panic selling down here before just flipping this range to support, because this really is technically a very important support resistance flip right now. Like some people would consider that a bear market, right? I don't consider that a bear market. You could describe a bear market as a bearish trend, right? Like you can go down to the 4-hour or rather, I can go down to the 1 hour and be like, oh, this is a bear market, right? Bears are in control. We're in downtrend, right? We're putting in lower highs and lower lows, right? But when I speak of a bear market, I'm speaking in the traditional sense of the Bitcoin cycles, right? So a lot of people will call that a bear market. I would be very worried about something bad happening to Bitcoin down here. But again, it could just be that last support to resistance flip, right? It was resistance for 7 months. Sometimes Bitcoin likes to retest those scenes of the crime before really heading up to higher prices. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, guys. Like I said, we have those local levels. We'll come down to those local levels. And, if and when we come down here, we'll reassess that situation. Hopefully, we never have to. Shout out to Local 11. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, win 500K. It's a super cycle. Shout out to Shunzen. Yeah, it's like, yeah. But if this happens, it's going to be a super cycle. And this is what I mean by there's a lot of confidence in the market right now of people who, in my opinion and my guess, would be that they're new to the market. Because I can tell with the confidence that they're speaking that they're new to the market. Because if you have any experience in this market, you understand that you can't just be 100% confident. But yeah, people are like, yeah, but, and this is a little different. You know, this time is a little different. Each cycle is a little bit different. You know, obviously people who say, like, again, people calling for 100K here got wrecked. This is the super cycle. This is the super cycle. 30K is the bottom, 100K incoming. They get wrecked, right? So, however, you know, we are technically this time, every time is different a little bit, right? They all have their own quirks. Each cycle has its own quirks. But, you know, U.S. Bitcoin reserve, if we get that, then it's going to be a super cycle and we go off to $1 bazillion. Is it possible? Yes. Is that how I'm going to be trading it? Absolutely not, right? Because like all these super cycles are all fueled by some kind of narrative, right? There's always like, I used to have a chart that marked off all these highs that was like, I forget exactly what happened. It's either like a gigantic partnership or some kind of like financial instrument being released for Bitcoin. And every time it's like, this is it. This is the super cycle. And then those people just always get wrecked, right? So I'm just not going to be that person. And I'm going to trade the charts, right? If we get to 150K, right, and things look super, super good, right, maybe I'll hold for longer. Maybe I'll take another long, whatever it is. But just traditionally or historically, this time is different. It's not a great trading strategy. Let's see. What is your plan? Shout out to Nordic. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, what is your plan for spot alts if BTC drops to 70K? I really hope it doesn't. And again, I don't want to get it twisted. I am not calling for 70K, right? It's an if this, then that statement, right? Really the general idea, and I'm not saying you think I'm calling for it, but I just want to be very clear. Like, I'm not just saying, guys, this is super bearish. We're going to 70K. That's not how it works, right? I just want to bring up that 77K CME gap because it's a, you know, if things just got, you know, if these bearish signals, which in a sideways market or bear market are super bearish, if this doesn't just get stepped on by the bulls, which we see in bull markets oftentimes, and we do just see it play out regularly, we could push down to those levels. And I need you guys to be aware of that because I don't want you guys, you know, panic selling on, you know, dumps that you shouldn't be or, you know, what have you. But what is your plan for spot alts if BTC drops to 70K? It depends, right? Like if we lose 70K, I mean, it's hard. It's a hard situation, man. I'll tell you that. Shout out to Nordic. It's going to be a difficult decision because luckily, right, we've been in this market for quite some time. Shout out to the CandleMafia out there that's been here since the beginning. We've gone through the bear market together. A lot of my alt buys are from the bottom of the market, right? So I have a lot of really good entries on my spot altcoin bags as well as my Bitcoin bags. It's going to be really hard, right? Because, like, again, like, loss of the CME gap, very bearish, right? Which, again, is about, you know, 80,670, right? So we don't bounce there and we lose that CME gap. Again, like, is it going to be a support resistance flip? Like, this is definitely going to be like, if we come down here, my thumbnail is going to be like, watch this level with like a million arrows, right? Because this is going to be a huge level, not only to potentially flip to support, right? Because again, resistance for 7 months, a lot of times price does like to go back and retest these areas before getting huge moves up. However, it's going to be a hard situation because if we lose this level, not a good sign for Bitcoin. So it's going to be hard, right? And that's just the reality of investing and trading in general, guys, is it's very difficult, right? I especially recently, I get a lot of text messages now from like everybody and their grandma, you know, Bitcoin rips. What should I buy? Should I buy XRP? It just 5X. I need to buy it. Should I do it? What should I do? And now, you know, when we come down, everyone's like, should I sell? What's going on? You know, I'm scared. Should I sell my bags? I don't know. I don't know what to do, right? This is going to be a hard situation, right? Because when we come down here, it's going to be like, even for me, right? It's going to be like, I don't know. It's going to be very hard. We have to assess the situation. And again, guys, hopefully we don't have to find out, right? Hopefully we just don't come down there. But if we do, it's going to be a difficult situation. Luckily, I have really, really good buys on my alts, right? Like Solana, my average buying price for Solana is $33, right? So I have a lot of room to come down before I'm really starting to like worry for my own spot bags. But, you know, if I'm buying up here, the reality of the situation is it just wasn't the best time to buy, right? But again, Hopefully we don't have to deal with that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, if and when we get there. But great question, Nordic. Luckily, I will be here with the Candle Mafia covering this live if it does wind up happening. All right, let's see. Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, Antonio's A says, hey, Frankie, can you please show us how you set up the fib with the golden pocket and all the stuff with the daily naked point of control, etc.? Shout out to Antonios. It would take me a very long time to explain all of that, but if you just go through the YouTube channel, go to the beginner series. I don't know if I have a naked point of control tutorial in the beginner series, but this whole YouTube channel, there's, I want to say, probably thousands of hours of content in here, which is basically just a trading course, probably hundreds of hours if I really had to put a realistic guess on it. But watch through all the tutorials. Everything you see me doing here, most of it, there are tutorials on the channel showing you how to do it from A to B, or A to Z. We don't want to stop at B. We want to go all the way to Z. But yeah, check out all the tutorials on the channel, bro. I teach everything for free. My biggest goal here for this YouTube channel is to offer the best free trading value or trading education here on YouTube. So check out the channel. Tons of free value. But yeah, there are like tons of tutorials. It would take me like weeks and weeks to teach all this. It takes a really long time to not only learn but also explain. But go check it out. We got all the free content here on the channel. But let's see. Let's go ahead and move on, guys. I think that's enough Bitcoin. That's what we're looking at. Hopefully, we can just hold these local levels and continue to the upside. But again, I'm going to be playing this range locally. We lose it. You know all the local levels I'm looking down at, and we will be trading it up and down along the way. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Dave Hagen, said, yo, the learning library on Frankie's channel is so lit. You are missing out if you don't look through the archive. Yeah, look through all the videos. And listen, low-key, I want to turn some of them private because some of them are old. When I first started my channel, I'd never been on camera before. Super embarrassing. But the information is good, right? So if it's good information, I leave it there. Watch every single tutorial, right? And I always say this, guys, when it comes to trading, and I know we're talking more long-term today just because, like I said, like very choppy market. I didn't even take a trade today. But I will just say, right, when it comes to trading, when it comes to investing, and I know everybody has really busy lives, right? People have 9-to-5 jobs. Not everybody can look at this full-time, which is why I'm here, right? I could just make a 10-minute video, 15-minute video that you can learn from. Might have taken me a long time to learn that, but I can hopefully explain things easily to you in a short video. You know, I know a lot of people new to the market are just going to look for this easy thing, like just, you know, what do I look for? When to buy, when to sell. It's never going to be that simple. And I recommend understanding that and accepting that early in your trading journey, early in your investing journey. It's never going to be that easy. And if you can't or don't want to spend the time to look through a bunch of videos or do a bunch of research, even if it's not my content, you know, nothing is going to be that easy, right? If it was just as easy as watching a YouTube channel, buying what someone told you and making $1 million, nobody would have a job, right? But I encourage you to watch through all that content, not to get views for me, right? Not for my benefit, but for your benefit. Because if you put the time in and you dedicate yourself to learning what we teach here on the channel, it could 100% improve your life. And well, I don't want to guarantee it, right? You still have to be good at it. But, you know, there's tons of free value here. And you have to put the time in. You have to sacrifice the time, sacrifice what you might want to do to focus on learning a new skill, right? But if you are able to do that and master the skill, guys, it is the most rewarding thing on earth. I can promise you that. And then hopefully one day you don't have to work a 9-to-5. But there you go. Go ahead and check it all out. Let's see. Yo, you mean Bitcoin doesn't have a customer service number? Ah, dang it. Shout out to Peter. Somebody call it. Somebody get the supervisor. I want to talk to a manager. I'm about to go Karen on Bitcoin, guys. I guess Ken. I go, Ken? Excuse me. I'm very upset with the service here, Bitcoin. My money is supposed to double every day. Why did that stop? That's probably what it feels like. I remember that's what it felt like for me in my first cycle. It was like, oh my God, everything's just going up. I'm making a ton of money. This is easy. Should have been the first red flag. Just like making money super easy. I should have been like, probably not going to last forever. All right, let's see. Use the Bitcoin mailbox address for complaints. Yeah, shout out to Chemistry Bro. Guys, we'll drop a link in the description down below if you want to send some complaints to Bitcoin. Unbelievable. Get the supervisor. I need to speak to your manager. All right, let's see. Yeah, Dave says you have to change your perspective on things. You have to change your perspective on things, and I like to look at the market right now as on a holiday sale. Shout out to Dave. Not a bad idea. Let's see. If I had the last 1K, What spot bag would you buy today? Shout out to Manon. I don't know if I said that correctly, but shout out to you. If you had the last 1K, do you mean like if I was down to my last $1,000? I'll answer the question twice. If I was down to my last $1,000, I would not invest it. I would use that $1,000 for way more important things than trying to invest it. If you only have $1,000 to your name and you have to pay your own bills, like unless you're like a college kid, you stay at home or something like that, and you're lucky enough to get, not have to worry about bills, and you have $1,000 from, saving up for Christmas or something, if we have any younger viewers, then maybe gamble that money, right? But if it was my last $1,000, I would not invest it, right? But if I just had $1,000, if I was starting with a lower amount, like $1,000, if I had to buy one spot bag, I'm going to go with my boy Peak. Shout out to the altcoins, guys. Drop your favorite altcoins in the chat right now. Rob the Crypto Stomp, count up the votes. Shout out to Chemistry, bro, by the way. I read your chat, bro, but I didn't shout you out. Shout out to Chemistry, bro. Drop some love for Chem, bro. Always love to see you in here, bro. Yo, shout out to Crypto Nate. He said, I don't want to be a one-upper. Bro, you're not being a one-upper. Be a one-upper, bro. Raise the bar. I like that, bro. Never apologize for being a one-upper. That's what motivates people. But he says, not trying to be a one-upper here, but you can work 6 to 5 and do this if you put your mind to it. That's why Frankie waits till after 5 to give you the sauce. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Nate. Yeah, 100%, right? Like, here's the thing, guys. Like one of the reasons why I've been able to like spend so much, like get so good at doing TA. And I hate saying like, oh, I'm so good. I'm my own worst. I'm my own biggest critic. I'm not bragging at all. But the reason I'm able to do this, guys, is because I'm obsessive, right? Like when I found technical analysis, I would eat, breathe, sleep, walk around. Everything was charts, right? Like even when I had a 9-to-5 job, right? I'm on my laptop, like sneaking charts, right? And I spent a lot of time, right? I didn't do a lot of things that a lot of other people do. I don't really watch TV. I don't care about sports. I would just spend all my time doing this. And my goal there was like, this is financially lucrative, right? But I had to sacrifice a ton of stuff, right? I also had to be in a pretty bad financial situation to, figure it out and make it work, right? Because at some point I didn't have a 9-to-5 and I was focusing on this, trying to make it work. And hint, it wasn't working in the beginning, right? I lost a lot of money. So you always have to sacrifice. Anything good does not come easy. You have to remember that. But anyway, drop those altcoins in the chat. Rob the Crypto Stomp, count up the votes and let us know what we're looking at. But I will say this. Let's see. Yeah. Pure says, yeah, try talking to your friends about charts. I will say, I do have some friends I could talk about it with. I don't know if they were as obsessed as I was, but yeah, it is hard. People are like, dude, what are you talking about? Divergence? Like, what is that a movie? But anyway, if I had $1,000, I would go ahead and I gotta show Peak some love here, guys. It's like, what happened to Peak? Oh my God. As you guys know, this is a low cap that we've been talking about for quite some time. Buying in on the pre-sale dump here. This is now up beautifully. Not at the tippy bottom, but up about 290%. I am betting on this one, right? I am betting on this. So it's a little bit lower market cap. I think it's like 400 million now. Might be a little bit more actually, as we've ripped up to about 77 cents or 76 cents. So yeah, I mean, this is a lower market cap. I don't think it's, again, do your own research, but if you look into this project, I might make a pre-recorded video about this. If you look up their website, it's a deep in play. It seems pretty promising, right? They have they're working with a lot of big companies, even though their token was just released, or their coin was just released, I guess November 12th. But they've been working a lot behind the scenes, and I have no affiliation with this project. I haven't been paid. I don't know who made it. This is just from my own research of looking at this coin, seeing the chart, seeing the pre-sale dump, and just dollar cost averaging in. I don't ever shill coins. I've never taken $1 to promote a cryptocurrency. I just don't do that. I don't have a meme coin. I just do my own research and share my journey with you guys. So, let's see. Okay, so let's continue on here real quick. I do want to take a look. We'll start off with Ethereum here, guys, because we did spend a lot of time on Bitcoin. So I'm going to fly through this a little bit. As you guys know, we looked at Ethereum yesterday, and we had 2 key levels of support. What was yesterday? Yesterday was the 10th of December. Let's see. So the 10th at about, I just like to find out where we were, right? So I can kind of get my bearings here. Bada boom. No, today is the 10th. Did I say yesterday was the 10th? I'm tripping, yo. But anyway, the 9th at about 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, so we were bing-bonging around this value area high. We had that big wick to the downside. We were hovering around here during the live stream. And, value area high is the doorway to lower prices. We get stuck under this level. You can see we got the bearish retest. Come down to a lower time frame so you can see it a little better, right? This is your value area high, doorway to lower prices. Value area low of the upper range is your doorway to higher prices, right? When we break above this, you look for the move into your next key level, which is at $4,083. We got that. Once we lose this level, bearish retest of that value area low. And again, just to show this, right? Value area pulled from up here. We bring those levels to the current price action. And that's what gives us the doorway to higher prices, right? I know I have a lot of new people in here. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about with the volume profiles, check out the beginner series. Watch the volume profile videos. They will change your life. Probably not good for your eyesight because you're going to stare at computer screens 24/7 after you learn about them because you're going to get obsessed with them like I am. But that's your doorway to higher prices. Once you get accepted out of there or unaccepted out of there, rejected out of that range, you get imbalance in the market. You look for price to seek out your previous area of balance, which is sitting right here. Value area high, gets stuck under this zone. You get the bearish retest. Again, if you pull up a lower time frame, you can see bearish retest, couldn't get back above. Where's that next likely place for price to go? You're looking for it to come down to that POC of the range. What happens? We get that drop right down to the POC. We technically front ran it by a couple of bucks, but very simply put, this is the context of the market, right? You get stuck under the value area high. You look to go to the value POC next. You lose the POC. Technically, we have this spider line sitting here at about 34.50, but if we lose this, guys, could be a bigger move down to about $3,000, right? Now, again, I'm not necessarily calling for this, but it's just an if this, then that statement. If we don't hold this POC, the last line of defense is the spider line at 33.55. Lose that, not looking that good. They're somewhat likely to get gravitated towards that value area low because when it comes to volume profiles, stuck under the high, next likely place for price to go is the POC. Get stuck under the POC. Technically, the next likely place for price to go is that value area low. We see this play out every time, not only from the highs to the lows, but obviously from the lows to the POCs to the highs, right? This is, if you've been here for more than 3 days, you know that we've been looking for all these moves on the altcoins through these upper volume profiles, calling these moves beautifully based off the volume profiles. So just keep that in mind. That's how they work for the most part. And right now, key level on Ethereum, 34.96. Lose that. 33.55. Lose that. $3,000 in my opinion. Now, again, are you going to have local levels in here? Absolutely. I'll obviously update you guys on the live streams. If we lose the POC, we lose the spider line, obviously we're going to have some other levels here, right? But I'm not going to pull them up right now because they're just intermediary, right? For the most part, you're looking to begin your journey down to the value area low if you lose the spider line, right? But are you going to get a bounce here and there? Sure. Maybe you wiggle around, you come back down. But at the end of the day, you're looking for that journey to continue you down to your value area low. Very similar to this, right? You break above your value area low, you flip it to support, you look to go to the POC, right? But you didn't get there. This is the POC. You didn't get there. You came back down, you tested the value area low again, but then eventually you wind up getting to the POC of the range, right? So again, it is usually a very confusing journey. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But those are the major levels I'm looking at on Ethereum. From a market cipher perspective, I will say money flow in the red on the 4-hour. This was one of the things yesterday that was making us look for the continuation down to this POC. When did we hit this? Earlier today, right? Got the rip down back towards that POC. So levels are holding up. Key resistance remains exactly the same to the upside, and that's what I'm looking at on Ethereum. All right, let's see. XRP cult wagon phase of the bull market is my favorite phase. Sucks that the chain works so well, or we just write it off like it's crazy. Yo, shout out the Wick 589. Let's take a quick look at XRP because obviously XRP had that news today, and we did get a bounce. And I just want to point out, guys, again, shout out to the volume profiles. What were we looking at yesterday on the live stream? December 9th. Where is it? Come down to the 1-hour time frame so we can get right during the live stream, right? The 9th at 5:45, right? We got that drop down. We knew, even before yesterday, we knew this is your volume profile. Deviate above the high. This is an overvalued asset. This is where you want to look for shorts. Look to come back into the range, get accepted into the range. You wiggle back to the high, you deviate again. But once you really get accepted in here, price is very likely to go to the POC. You front ran it, you came back up, and then eventually you did wind up coming down and tapping this level. And this was that key level of support we were looking at yesterday on the live stream. Just the fact that it's the POC, it's not some magic secret level that I'm not sharing how I find them. It's just the POC / golden pocket retracement, which is confluent, or the golden pocket retracement was confluent with that previous point of control. Price comes down. We already know that once we get stuck under this value area high, it's likely to go to the POC. And if we're looking for a retracement anyway, where you're looking for that retracement to come into, you're looking for it to come into the golden pocket. So you had a few reasons to look down here. And now we're getting that beautiful bounce off of this zone. Now, money flow-wise, still not really looking that great on XRP, in my opinion. Now, it doesn't mean we have to continue down, right? But technically, your money flow is still trending down here on the 6-hour, 5-hour, and the 4 hours, about to cross over into the red. Now, could that news just rip you back up into new all-time highs? Potentially. Or I should just say to the previous all-time high, which is basically your next key level. Potentially. Money flow is not pointing towards that. But again, in a bull market, these money flow crossovers sometimes just yank back up into the green. Something to keep in mind. However, on the higher time frames, you can see we do have a 4-hour red dot printing, 5-hour red dot looking to print. 4-day red dot printing, 5-day red dot about to print, 6-day red dot about to print, and then your weekly VWAP is starting to come down here. Once that VWAP crosses over the 0 line, we will get a red dot. Typically, we do get bigger corrections on those moves, just like Bitcoin, right? But as far as money flow goes, remember, money flow indicates the longer-term trend, right? The red and green dots only indicate the ebbs and flows in the market, right? Even if we come back here in 2017, right, you get your money flow crossover into the green. This indicates that the overall trend is going to continue up, right? And what happens? You get a big move up, you cool off, but then you just get another move up, right? Trend continues up based off your money flow. But look at your red and green dots. You have a red dot here. You have a red dot here. You have a red dot here. You have a red dot here, and then you finally got a weekly green dot. But you can see, red dot on the weekly, pullback, right? Red dot on the weekly, kind of got a little wick down, right? Came back up, another red dot prints, you come down a little bit. So just understand that these weekly red dots could cool you off a little bit. But if we do cool off, POC, the range is key support, lose that POC, I would be looking to come down to that 786. And I always feel crazy looking at these levels, but they come quick. They come quick. So if we do get stuck, as long as we remain in this range, POC is your next key level of support. If you lose the POC golden pocket, going to be looking down towards that value area low / 786 retracement of that same fib pull from this golden pocket. Which, by the way, if you're looking at where I pulled that from, is pulled from this low, which actually technically I would really want it to be that low. But it's almost the same. But either way, that's the key levels, right? Lose the POC, look to go to the value area low. At that point, we could potentially look for longs if we're even going to get back down there. But yeah, money flow looking the same as Bitcoin and Ethereum, to be honest, which is coming out over time. All right, let's see. Shout out to Shunzin said, my God, now we get over 1K viewers every live stream. It is the bull run. Shout out to Shunzin. The attention is back. The attention is back. Hawk2 is rug pulling memes. We're here, baby. We're here. Hopefully it's not the top, though. I'm not going to lie. Hawk2 or Haley Welch releasing a Hawk2 coin and rug pulling it does seem like something in 2 years we look back and go, we should have known. We should have known. We got the Hawk2 girl, rug pulling meme coins. We should have known it was the top. Unbelievable. I remember that back in 2021 just being like, yeah, like the meme coins were going crazy. And it's always obviously much more hindsight's 2020, right? But it is funny because I talked to a lot of people about meme coins are going crazy. Like that's kind of worrisome, and it wound up being like the top. So always be worried about that. Let's see. Shout out to Wick589 said, y'all ever wonder why it burns after you already ate the spice? The same tissue your lips are made of. The same tissue your lips are made of, they're the same tissue your downstairs is made. I'm being very careful reading this. Shout out to Wick589. So you now know. Okay, all right. Well, shout out to Wick589. I did not know that. You just learned me something. You just learned me something, Wick. Hey, I teach you guys. You teach me. Can't wait to share that fun fact with people. Shout out to Wick. All right, let's see. Yeah, they should have at least, shout out to Pure, they should have at least offered everybody who lost all their money a t-shirt. Just says I got wrecked in a bull market. All right, let's go ahead and continue on here. Tony says, I set a partial like goal for 600 likes by 6:45, and we achieved it. Do with that what you will. I don't know what I would do with that, but if we hit 1,000 likes, guys, we'll add $100 to the Solana giveaway on Friday. So smash that like button if you have not already. If you learned something today, if I gave you a little peace of mind, or even if I scared you a little bit, drop a like on the video. It's the easiest and most free way that you can help support the channel. We genuinely appreciate it, guys. But let me see. I've been sleeping on these. Thank you, Rob, for the altcoins. I appreciate you, bro. And thank you, Tony, for pinning them. But let's see. All right, let's take a look at Peak, guys. It's on the list. I know it is funny. We've been talking about this for quite some time, and now I see a lot of people asking to see it. Hopefully, it's because I was mentioning it. But yeah, this is I'm up pretty good here. My average buy-in, I think, is like 20. Like my average buy-in is right here, right? So this is whoops. I am up pretty handsomely on this bag. 27 is my average buy-in. So yeah, just dollar cost averaging on the way down, getting that nice average buy-in price here. But at this point, I will say this. I'm not going to lie, guys. Low key, although I did say, like, I haven't taken a trade today, which is true. But I wanted to short Peak today. And you might be thinking to yourself, Frankie, what the heck, dude? You're buying it, but you want to short it? Like, doesn't that mean you're bearish? Subscribe to the channel and stick around. We'll show you how you could short something and still be bullish on it. But I will just say this. I was really looking for a short here on Peak. And really the only reason is, obviously, we've had a pretty nice run to the upside, right? I'm just going to get rid of this for now. We could always re-pull it if we have to. But we saw nice moves here, right? And if you guys have been watching the channel for quite some time, you will know, pull from the high to the low, pull up those Fibonacci extension levels. We were looking for Peak. If we were going to make a new all-time high, crack this 59-cent level, we were looking to come into our first zone of resistance, which was going to be these two Fibonacci zones, or two Fibonacci extension zones, sitting between 69 and 76 cents. What happens? We wind up getting the move up. We reject the first level at first, put bullish retest on that 786, and then we wind up coming into that zone. And this was kind of a big target for me, and I was looking for a potential short position, but nobody has it. I can't short it anywhere. It's a newer coin, and there was just nowhere where I could short it, which is unfortunate because I was kind of itching to get into a trade today. Although that doesn't make me enter a trade, I was hunting vigorously for a nice little trade here, but no one had Peak to short, so I obviously did not take it. But did get a pretty nice little pullback here. I will just say this. It's kind of hard to do like legitimate TA on this just because of the lack of, or any kind of long-term TA just because of the lack of price history. But I will say at this point, I will pull some ranges here. For me personally, if I were going to look, let me just get rid of this 786 real quick. Get rid of the 786, get rid of the 618, get rid of the 65. Just clean that up. We got a little retest here, but yeah, to be honest, it's kind of hard, right? Like I can't really pull a significant range here. Like I could try to pull this. Let me go ahead and mark this out. Yeah, like I just don't know. Like it's not really the cleanest range, to be quite honest with you. I don't really like it. But I will say this. If we continue up, I would really like if we could get a dang pullback on this. I'd like to buy a little more before it goes to, before it rips up to Pluto. 16-hour red dot, no information on the daily time frame. Again, I can't really do long-term analysis on this just because there's no price history. But, 10-hour bearish divergence. Again, like there's many reasons why we could potentially see this pull back a little bit. But at this point, how far is this thing going to retrace? Hard to say. Your local golden pocket is sitting right here. If you are interested in checking this out, I highly recommend you do your own research. Check out the project. Go to their website. But even if I just pulled this whole thing, come on over to lower time frame. Yeah, I mean, this would probably be the range I'd look at, right? You have your value area sitting right here. You have your value area high in confluence with that Fibonacci extension level. POC sitting here at about 63.22. And then you have your golden pocket value area low sitting at 58 cents with your 786 sitting at about 55 cents. So this is kind of your local range. We get stuck under this value area high. I will look for the move to the POC and then the value area low / Fibonacci retracement zone. We start losing that. I would look to actually not coincidentally, but funny enough, I just deleted this. I would look to come down to this older, consolidation area sitting between 46 and 29 cents. But right now, this thing is kind of just screaming to the upside. So we'll see what happens. Let price action kind of cool off. But yeah, this thing, money flow coming out on the 80 and 90 minute. The fact that we have a 16-hour red dot makes me think that a daily red dot, if we had the price history, would be close to printing, which means that 90 and 80-minute money flow crossover could give you a pullback. This is part of the reason why I was looking for shorts on this. Money flow coming out, higher time frame red dots. We're stuck into this value area high. We also got a beautiful golden pocket retracement. If you guys must know, I like to share with you guys what I look at here. We had a nice 786 golden pocket retracement for a lower high. That's where I was looking for the entry. And then I was like searching everywhere to short peak, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So otherwise, I would have been entered in up here. But that's what I'd be looking at on peak. Little short and sweet there with the lack of price action. But let's go ahead and I shorted it on MEXC. MEXC has it? Oh, dang. I wish I knew that. I didn't check MEXC. Let's see. Okay, let's continue on here. Next altcoin is going to be, we took a look at Ethereum. We took a look at did we take a look at XRP? I think we did, right? I look at so many coins, guys. It's, yeah, we took a look at XRP, getting that bounce off the POC. Let's take a look at Link. Shout out to the Link Marines. Let's take a look here. So, on Chainlink, very simply put, we got our move. Let me just zoom out here to give you guys context, right? We had a lower accumulation, breakout to the previous area of balance, rejection. We got the retest, right, of our, come on, lower Fibonacci levels, right? Where are we looking for the higher low? We're looking for it on the golden pocket. If it doesn't come into the golden pocket, we look for the 786. What's that 786 also confluent with? Well, it's also confluent with the value area high of the range, right? So that gives us the higher low, right? And then we get a break of structure to the upside, right? You have that bullish market structure. Low, high, higher low, higher high, right? So with that being said, I will say this. We finally get accepted into this doorway at higher prices. Where do you expect price to go once you get accepted in here? Flip that value area low to support. You're looking to go to the POC. We came in. We tapped the POC. We tapped. And now we're getting the retracement, right? It's not mean that we're going to zero necessarily. And again, longer term outlook, guys. And again, I don't want to act like things can't get bearish from here on Bitcoin. I'm not saying that we can't get a huge correction. You have to keep your eyes or your mind open to all possibilities, right? Or at least the most likely ones. Which in my case is like we are still in a bullish trend. We are still in a bull market. And with these money flow crossovers on the higher daily time frames, such as the 3-day, such as the 4-day, such as the 5-day, even on the weekly, being in the green here, could mean that the trend is going to continue to the upside in the long term. What happens in the short term? Well, you can get red and green. You can get red dots that give you those retracements back to the downside. Key levels of support here. And let me see. Did we actually? Let me just see something here. Did we get a? Another good way to look at this, in my opinion, is once you get an impulsive breakout of your lower range. Let me go ahead and see if I can turn on my fair value gaps here real quick. So so you guys can see this. This is Lux Algo. Shout out to Lux Algo, sponsor of the channel. Check them out in the link in the description down below if you guys are interested in checking them out. But I do just want to show this, right? Because when I look at a lot of these altcoins and we talk about breaking out of those lower ranges, I look at it in the form of volume profiles, which is totally great, right? That's what it works out great for us. However, I do just want to point out, right? When you get breakouts of these ranges, like you can see we get a fake out, we get a little fake out, we get a little fake out, we get a little fake out, and then finally we break out. What makes this breakout awesome, right? And what makes it the actual breakout where we can look for that higher low? Not only do you have the change of character showing you that you could be changing to bullish market structure, right? So you get the bullish change of character, candlesticks turn green. But I want to talk about these fair value gaps because when you get a big impulsive move like this with giant green candles and they're closing, right, on higher time frames, these are weekly candles closing above this range. This is a clear breakout, right? You have huge imbalance to the upside, many weekly candle closures, right? You can even look at this on lower time frames. But on the weekly for like long-term alt plays, you can see we left behind this fair value gap. And when you get a correction after a big impulse to the upside, you have these fair value gaps. And oftentimes, these fair value gaps are areas on the chart that have not been retested. And oftentimes, price likes to go back and revisit these levels. And if I just come in here to the settings and I extend this, I don't know how much I'm going to have to extend it. Probably a little bit more than that. Right? You can see that oftentimes price does like to come back down and retest these fair value gaps before getting another break of structure to the upside. This is almost like, if you've ever heard of ICT, if you guys are familiar with ICT, like smart money concepts, this is price actions concepts. This is like what this indicator kind of shows you. But, you get the big breakout with imbalance, right? You come back down, you retest that fair value gap. And then when you have these fair value gaps in line with key Fibonacci levels, such as a 786, right? Oftentimes it will test the center of it. This is typically really good entries, right? These are good entries, in this case, on the weekly into a long-term spot bag, but you could use this on the short-term, lower time frames to enter maybe scalp trades or day trades or what have you. But just to show that, right? Like fair value gap sitting down here, absolutely beautiful. You can see this on many, many altcoins that were in that lower range, got the breakout. They oftentimes came, when they have that imbalance to the upside with the fair value gap, they come back down, they retest that fair value gap before getting the breakup, and Chainlink is one of those coins. So just another thing you can look for if you're looking for retracements into key levels to look for entries. You could look for these higher time frame fair value gaps. But either way, at this point, right, what are your key levels, right? Let me go ahead and hide Lux Algo real quick. Key levels to the downside. I mean, your biggest key level is obviously going to be 1686 at the value area low. Hopefully, we don't have to get back down there. But if we pull our fib here from the low to the high, come on. I'll just pull this manually. Right there, right? We're tapping our golden pocket. If we wind up losing this level, right, the golden pocket meaning, I would look to come down towards that 786. You lose the 786, I'd look to come down to that value area low. But you do have the 786 here. Hopefully, we can just hold the golden pocket. I don't know if that's very likely because, again, money flow is looking very similar to it's actually not looking very similar, to be quite honest. Like 3-hour and 4-hour money flow is coming out like Bitcoin, but that 10-hour money flow doesn't look as bad as Bitcoin, to be quite honest. And you're looking to print a potential green dot here on the 10-hour soon as well. So that's something I would look at. But yeah, 786 coming in at about 1858. So these are the key levels to the downside. And you could even pull this little local volume profile as some local context. If you wind up coming back up, I would look at these as key levels, right? So you have your local volume profile above. You can see we got the drop down. Where'd you get the bearish retest into? Right into your value area low. Couldn't get reaccepted into the range, and you get the bigger drop down. So, yeah, but the way some of this money flow looks, I would look for a potential, your next stop being this 1857, 786. Lose that golden pocket, look to come down there. Lose this, come down to the value area low at 1686. And actually, let me just see real quick. Even on a lower time frame here, just look for, I also have a video on fair value gaps if you guys are interested in checking that out. Interesting. Yeah, there you go. Right? You have this little consolidation. You get a big breakout. Right now, again, this is a lower time frame, but you get a clear breakout of this consolidation. Big move up. You leave back a fair value gap. And what happens? You have a fair value gap sitting here. You pull from the low to the high. Your golden pocket is confluent with that fair value gap. Sometimes that's where you can get the bounce, right? Doesn't guarantee that you're going to just rip up from here, but this is same kind of theory here. And you can see those golden pockets oftentimes come confluent with that fair value gap. And a lot of times price likes to come, retest those before getting another move up. But I will say, to be quite honest, I'd be careful of this resistance above just with the way money flow looks right now. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's see. K Diggity said smash that like button. Shout out to K Diggity. Smash that like button, guys, if you have not already. We're giving away $100 in Solana. If we hit 1,000 likes, we'll add another $100 in Solana to Friday's giveaway. We're already giving away $100. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's see. Hey, shout out to Jessica in the chat. What is going on, Jessica? Thank you for being here. We love to see you in here. Let's see. Hope you're doing well, Jessica. I hope you're doing well. Let's see. I feel like it's like old Candle Mafia family back when Jessica pops in. Representing that female Candle Mafia. According to YouTube, it's like 2% of our audience. So they're an elite group, guys. They're an elite, rare group. Shout out to Jessica. Let's get it. All right, let's see. Tron, maybe we could shout out to Hornbill. I think that's what that says. We could try to take a look at Tron in just a second. Enzo says Bitcoin 2025 is going to be awesome. Hey, shout out to Enzo. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Pepe. All right, maybe we'll take a look at Pepe because I think, all right, Algo's the only other one on the list here. So let's just take a look at Algo. And then I'll try to take a look at Pepe and Tron if we have time. But let's take a look here. So Algo, as you guys know, and here we are, right? So Algo's kind of in the same situation that we've been talking about. I'm going to go quick and dirty on Algo, right? So you have your lower accumulation, right? lower accumulation range. You got your, you got your value area high, your POC, and your value area low. Bada boom, right? And we have this very key level here. Why is this a key level? Well, because we know that if we were able to break above that level, right, and I will pull up the VPVR real quick. Take a sip of that black coffee. Like I need this at 7:15 p.m. But here we are, right? Let's take a look here at the VPVR, right? Why is this a key level, guys? Well, simply put, your shelf of volume pretty much ends right at this key level, right? This previous high, we came up, we rejected, we came back down. But what does this do? This gives us this pretty decent volume gap above. And if algo is able to flip this key level to support, I would expect, remember, quick moves down oftentimes lead to quick moves up. Low volume gaps do not support price. There's not a lot of resistance here holding you back from coming up to your next key level at about 78 cents where your volume winds up picking back up. Price action likes to stick to these high volume nodes. It's a nice, this is why I love the volume profiles. I'm a very visual person, I think, right? So it obviously ranging around here creates the high volume node, but it also makes it like a magnet, right? Price likes to stick around on these high volume nodes, right? Whether it's this high volume node or even like this little high volume node, you will stick around to these areas, right? And then the low volume nodes or low volume gaps, typically you see quick moves up or quick moves down, right? So just keep that in mind. You flip this key level sitting at 45.87. I would expect potentially, if we could hold it, to see a quick move up to that 77 cent level for Algorand, which is your value area low, which is your doorway to higher prices, right? So that's what I'd be looking at, right? Until then, could we get a little bit of a retracement? Potentially, right? Pulling up Market Cipher real quick. Come on. Yeah, money flow crossover into the green on the 4-day. This would indicate that the trend is likely to continue to the upside. But when you have a 4-day red dot printing, a 5-day red dot printing, 6-day red dot looking to print, look at that VWAP is as close as you could get to the zero line almost. And then the weekly red dot looking to print as well. Come on, right? Coming down. Now, money flow is looking good, right? Money flow indicates the trend is going to continue up. However, the red dots could potentially give you a little bit more of a cool off if they want, right? Now, what levels would I be looking at? I can't guarantee that we're going to get all the way back down here. However, I would say this is a big, in my opinion, right, if you do not own algo, wish I knew my average entry price for algo. But I will just say I'm not guaranteeing that we for sure 100% get down here, right? I can't assure anything 100%. But if we pull down into this golden pocket, I might be looking for, or if I did not own algo and didn't buy it down here in the bear market range, I would be looking at this as a potential buy the dip scenario on Algorand. 29 cents, right? Bring it down to the 786 value area high at about 21 cents. This is kind of a buy the dip zone for me, right? So between 30 and 21 cents. And again, I don't know if we're going to get a move all the way back down there. You're kind of knocking on the doorway to higher prices. When you break this level, you like to get, little creeps up, right? Like once you feel that, low volume gap, sometimes price will shoot up. So, but if we did get a cool off, this would be, in my opinion, the next key support zone, right? Because if you lose that 786, I'd be looking probably for a bigger move down. And at this point, maybe Bitcoin's getting a little worrisome as well. But if we come on down here, I would probably be looking, even on a retest of that prior range, very similar to Bitcoin, to be honest, right? You break out of this range, it would be somewhat healthy, in my opinion, to get that 786 retracement, to put in a higher low, and then break structure to the upside. Just like we looked at on Chainlink. It's kind of the same exact setup, except Algorand's not as far along, right? Chainlink's already got this POC up here. Algorand's still lagging behind. If I pull Chainlink back up, you can see it's the same thing. Here's your prior range. You get the push up, right? This is like Algorand's kind of already testing it, is starting to get the breakout here. If you get the pullback, look for that pullback to come into the previous range high before putting on a higher low, again, on that 786 before breaking structure to the upside. Same thing, right? If we get a pullback, I would look for it to potentially come back. Best case scenario for buying the dip would be to come into the 786 value area high confluence, just like Chainlink, before breaking structure to the upside. But we'll see what happens. It's not, again, we're knocking on the doorway to pretty much a quick move up. So I don't want to, if you don't own any Algorand, I don't know if I'd be like just guaranteeing that we're going to come down here. Just keep that in mind. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'd be looking at on algo for the most part. I don't want to overcomplicate it. Just watch out for the 4-hour money flow in the red could continue that trend to the downside. I'd like a little drop down here to buy the dip. If I didn't own algo, I would like that. I already own algo. Maybe I don't know. I'm gonna try to find my average entry price. Maybe I'll talk about it on the fake out. But there we go. All right, so there is Algorand. Let's take a quick look at PP. Let's see. Shout out to JK. We just did a huge analysis on Bitcoin. Just scrub to the beginning of the stream. I cover everything. We cover the short term, the long term, the lower prices, the higher price. We cover everything. So just scrub back to the beginning of the stream, and you'll be able to see all that. Let's see. Okay, let's continue on here. Yo, shout out to we got BX Bricklayer in the chat. My paisan, what is going on, bro? Welcome in, dude. Good to see you here. I hope you're doing well, my man. If you guys don't know, BX Bricklayer or Jimmy Void, they're OGs of the CandleMafia. Shout out to you, man. He said, where'd it go? Oh, he said, hey, Frankie Luigi Mangione. Frankie Luigi Mangione, anyone tell you look like his twin, bro? CandleMafia. Shout out to BX Bricklayer. Is that the guy? Is that who I think it is? Oh, God. Yeah, it is. It is. Oh, God. I guess I kind of see that. I am a peaceful person for the most part, right? Like, unless you're breaking the rules of the mafia, then, then it changes a little bit. But shout out to Bronx Bricklayer. Shout out to you, bro. Let's see. Okay, so let's take a quick look at Pepe, and then we'll jump into Tron really quickly. And actually, guys, we took a look at Pepe yesterday, and we were looking at a very key level on the chart. What was that key level? Well, number one, we were looking at the spider line rejection, right? Let me actually pull up the 1 hour chart here. Bada boom. I actually hid the Fibonacci extension. Where is it? I'll have to pull it back up. Where is that Fib extension? Is it this one? I don't think so. We'll find it again. But, yeah, we came up to this spider line, right? We put in some bearish divergences, money flow coming out. We got the drop back down. What we'll be looking at as a key level of support yesterday was the 9th at 5 p.m., right? So we were kind of just hanging out around here. Yeah, bing-bonging around here saying, hey, if we can't get back above this spider line, we're looking for our key level to the downside being the value area high / golden pocket retracement / POC of the range, right? So value area high, like down below, very clearly, you have your value area high as potential support. You got to move down. Well, first we got to move down. We got to bounce. We got another move down. This whole zone is somewhat support, in my opinion. If you start losing the POC, I'd look for the bigger drop down to the 786 value area low, which is another somewhat decently sized zone. But very simply put, like this is the pull up a lower time frame real quick. Let me adjust this. Bear with me here, guys. Just clean this up a bit. Bada boom. Bada bing. Okay. And grab that as well. Okay. So, yeah, this is your definitely your key level, right? This golden pocket from the low to the high is coming in somewhat confluent with your value area high. So if we lose the value area high, could you bounce off the golden pocket POC confluence? Potentially. But this whole zone is going to be your support. I'm not going to so between 2215 and 2087, first zone of resistance, you lose that POC. I'd be looking down towards the 786 value area low, sitting between 1973 and 1911. If we lose that, I will be looking at getting rid of this fib pull real quick. I won't even cover the lower levels, right? Like we'll pay attention to these. If we go lower, we'll assess the situation as it comes in. But lower prices, if that money flow keeps coming out here and we do continue to the downside, we did hit that spider line, which is the key level of resistance. I didn't know if this was going to be, if these were going to be as fire as they are on Bitcoin, on Pepe, because these are kind of experimental. But they wound up playing out beautifully, right? Like wound up being the level that we rejected. So if this money flow winds up continuing out here, like even the 2 hour money flow looking to come into the red, I would look for a continuation into this range and then get accepted in here, maybe bing bong around, and then we could reassess the situation when we get when and if we get down there. So there you go. Quick and dirty Pepe analysis. Let's take a quick look at Tron. Take a look at TRX. Actually, I'm going to take a look at the Bybit chart here. With like a little more price history. Okay, so let's see here. Where does this go back to? This doesn't really have a lot of price history either. Do we have a I guess Binance US dollar. Okay, so there we go. All right, so Tron, let's take a look here. Let me pull from the high in 2017. Come on. All right, I'll pull that manually to the low here. Bada boom. All right, so we did just come into that golden pocket, 786 retracement. This is from 2017, though. Keep that. I'm actually going to pull this from over here. Is this the 2021 high? Yeah. All right, so April 2021. Come on. Where'd that dot go? There we go. To the bottom in 2022. And then, maybe I'm going to have to, might have to pull up some new levels here because we might have, okay, so yeah. Crazy stuff. So you come into your first Fibonacci retracement, and again, we don't really look at Tron. This is why I don't have a chart on this. But we get up, we come into our first Fibonacci extension level. If you need your sign to start looking at Fibonacci extensions for your your price targets, when you can't look left for price action, when you're in price discovery, take this as your sign, or maybe just any coin that we look at the extensions on as your sign, right? So you come up here, you hit you start rejecting off your first Fibonacci extension, you wind up breaking through, you shoot right up to your second zone, which is sitting up here between about 41 cents and 36 cents. I don't own any Tron, I guess unfortunately, right? But you got to catch them all, guys, but sometimes it's impossible. But yeah, we're rejecting off that next Fibonacci extension level. So if this does continue up and just keeps ripping, your next Fibonacci extension is going to be sitting at about 54 cents. That would be the next target I would be looking at to the upside. Let me pull a... Okay, and you have a nice 786 retracement here. I know this gets a little confusing, right? So turn off the extensions, right? You can see we got the move up, pull your fib from the low to the high. We got a nice little 786 retracement here. Daily green dot looking to print. So, this is really your key level right now, 24 cents. If you're able to hold this, I would be looking for a green dot on the daily to potentially come up and break the highs again. Check the money flow. Yeah, here's the thing, guys. Money flow just doesn't really look good on the 4-hour on a lot of stuff. So we could continue the trend. But right now, 24 cents is your key level of support. You lose that 786, I would probably be looking to come down and revisit. Let me go ahead and pull this. Boom, boom. Value area low, POC value area high. Yeah, so let's pull up that VPVR really quick. Yeah, so you don't really have a lot of volume here. So I will say if you lose the 786, I'd probably look for a bigger move down towards this naked value area down here. If you don't hold the 786, if you can hold the 786, maybe you just bounce from here. But I will say the way money flow looks on the 4-hour, unless it just fakes out back into the green, could look for a continuation, even if you get a retracement, a continuation to the downside. And then these levels down here, sitting value area high at 20 cents, and then the POC at 0.198, and then the value area low at 0.194. So you lose this, I'd probably look for a quick drop down through this low volume gap. Again, quick move up could equal a quick move down, right? Just like it did here, right? Whoops. Quick move up, quick move down, right? So yeah, that's what I'd be looking at on Tron. I don't love the 4-hour money flow, but I will say the daily green dot would be the next thing I'd be looking at for a move to the upside. If you get that move to the upside, your next target would be sitting up here at this Fibonacci extension level at about 54 cents. And again, you could see how good these Fibonacci extensions wind up working, right? You hit your head, rejection, fill it. You even got a little reaction here off your next extension level. Got a little rejection, another move up. Whoops, I'll get rid of this for now. And then you just come up into your next extension zone right before getting the bigger correction to the downside. So there you go, higher time frame. Yeah, red dot on the, probably the same thing as Bitcoin. Yeah, 4-day red dot, 5-day red dot, 6-day. Looking to print the red dot, and then your weekly also looking to cool off here potentially as well. But that's what I'd be looking at on Tron. Kind of hard to analyze something that just had a massive rip up like that. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on Tron, guys. But with all that being said, I think that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream, guys. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out till the end of the stream. Smash that like button if you guys have not already. What are we at? What are we at here? 964 likes, guys. Smash that like button. We don't have to up these like goals. But if we hit 1,000 likes before the end of the stream, I will be giving away another $100 in Solana, or adding another $100 to the Solana giveaway on Friday. So smash that like button on your way out. And with all that being said, guys, we'll see what happens with Bitcoin. It's a bit choppy. We're in a little bit of a weird situation, but those bearish signs are popping up on Market Cypher B, so we have to take them for what they're worth. Yeah, unless we just bull market out of here, Market Cypher B looks like it wants to get a bigger move to the downside, but those key levels are now hopefully on your charts, and you guys know exactly what I'm looking at next for the move, or the next move on Bitcoin. And with all that being said, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. Shout out to Erica. Shout out to 9 to 5 Crypto and Content. Shout out to Gen Z. Shout out to Marvin. Shout out to Satoshi in the chat. Shout out to KJam. Shout out to BX Bricklayer. Shout out to Jessica. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to the mods, guys. Drop some love in the chat for the mods. We love them. I know you guys do too. So show them some love in the chat. But with all that being said, that's all the time I got. Shout out to Marvin said. Shout out to Marvin. Mervin says every day is a bull market with Frankie. So shout out to you guys. If you like the content, make sure you subscribe. Turn on notifications so you don't miss our market updates or live streams. I don't really want to leave, guys. I don't want to leave. But I got to. I got some stuff to do. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Right here. 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll see you guys tomorrow. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have them 2 bells ready. Spin it for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Shout out to the CandleMafia. We just hit 1,000 likes. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate every single one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. I mean, smash the like button on your way out, I guess, if any of you guys missed it. But we hit 1,000 likes, guys. Another $100 in Solana being given away on Friday's live stream. Maybe we can hit all our like goals. We'll give away $500 in Solana on Friday. I think we could do it. With all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got. I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. You know the rest. Pray for Bitcoin. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, hey, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, we go. At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the